Good morning, Oklahoma. Welcome to Cow-Calf Corner on Sunup. To this point this summer, we've been blessed with good rains. We've had some mild temperatures, but it is August in Oklahoma. And so our topic this week is heat stress. We are fortunate to be joined by Dr. Barry Whitworth, who's going to discuss this topic with us. Without further ado, here's Barry.
You know, we've had some really nice weather this summer in Oklahoma. I think the average temperature according to the Mesonet was less than 80 degrees in July. As we go into August and maybe September though, we may see some warm temperatures. Cattle are pretty comfortable unless the temperature gets up above 85 degrees, and high humidity also contributes to their discomfort. Heat stress will set in. I think most people are well aware of when the cattle are hot, they're going to go find some shade, or they're going to go get in that pond and get belly deep in the water to try to stay cool. This is a good time for cattle producers to observe their animals to make sure that they don't see any of those that are suffering from excessive heat stress. Clinical signs that we would look for, since we know that most of the English origin cattle don't sweat nearly as well as the Boston Indicus breeds, they've got to keep themselves cool by increasing their respiration. So if you see cows that are open mouth breathing, or maybe have a tongue protruding while they're breathing, or they have excess salivation, they really have copious amounts of saliva in their mouth or in their nasal passages, these are clues that these cows are too hot. They need some relief for cattle that are heat stressed. Usually we get some water on them and try to increase air circulation. I mean, if you have the ability to get a fan blowing on them while you're putting that water on, that will help quite a bit. I think the main thing that we have to remember is we try to manage heat stress. The most important thing is that these animals have plenty of cool, clean water. They need to have adequate space. When you have several animals that are hot, they're going to drink maybe 2 gallons per 100 pounds per day. They're going to fight for that water source, so you may have to increase the amount of space that they have for water. Other things that we can do to manage heat stress are make sure you've got a place for those cows to get out of the sun. Make sure that we control the flies. Flies cause those animals to bunch up. We want them to stay spread out, which will increase that airflow. If you're feeding cattle, obviously we can't do anything about cattle grazing pastures, but if you're feeding cattle, remember the rumen is a big fermentation vat. It creates heat, so we ought to feed our cattle later in the day, maybe in the evening, so that when that fermentation process takes place, it'll be at a cooler time. Also remember, if you've got to work cattle, get started on it early. Be done by 10 a.m. Don't work the cattle after 10 a.m. Just keep in mind that August and September can be very hot months, and keep a close eye on your cattle for any signs of heat stress.